All right, let's move on to another issue because this is really significant. I didn't think it could possibly be true. I read it a few times and rang a few people, and sadly it is, because Victorian farmers are facing new regulations that will allow squatters, rubbish dumping, and even human faecal contamination on their own land. The Parks and Crown Land Amendment Bill, amended by the Andrews government late last year, well, it allows camping on river-fronting Crown land licensed by a farmer, whether the farmer likes it or not. Under these laws, campers do not need the permission of farmers or landholders who lease Crown land to use that land. For more on this, I'm joined now from Western Victoria by Victorian Liberal MP Bev McArthur and farmer Mr Al Coulson. Bev, to you first, if I can. I mean, this is extraordinary. This is a cancellation of property owners' rights, isn't it? I mean, this is the right of a landholder to live on their property without disturbance. You kicked up a fuss at the time, but I can't remember the public debate about these law changes.
Well, Peter, yes, it's quite extraordinary. The bill got passed without any regulations. Now we've got the regulations, and now we can see that all our fears have been realised, and those of farmers, obviously, because, you know, it's now apparent that somebody can camp, not just for one night, but for 28 days, for heaven's sake. We've had a situation where recently the EPA have said animal manure is deemed industrial waste. But here we're going to allow people to defecate on land. So that doesn't matter, but animal manure does. There is no rhyme or reason about this, and farmers effectively are going to have to be policemen, and they're in a situation where the biosecurity hasn't been addressed, the fire risk hasn't been addressed, the rubbish issue hasn't been addressed, and they've suggested that there's going to be an app. Well, we all know how hopeless this government is when it comes to apps. They can't do contact tracing. So how are they going to manage 10,000 licences of Crown land, 17,000 kilometres of water frontage? I asked the question how many officers were going to be around to do all this policing. The minister said over 100. Then a fisheries officer contacted me to say there were actually only 69 in Victoria. So I don't know how this is going to work. And, I urge all landowners with Crown land to put in a submission to these regulations and make sure this government does not get any of this through.
Al, people would be gobsmacked tonight to hear that someone can just go onto your land, they can camp there for up to 28 days, and you'll only know they're there. And let's just focus on the fire risk at the very least. You'll only know they're there if you're in your ute and you're getting around the property and you find one camp followed by another camp all the way around your own land. What's your view of this?
Well, it's pretty bad because those campfires could be just left, and as we know, they can smoulder after 2 or 3 days' time when they've either left or we're not around, and next thing we've got a fire on our hands, an unguarded one. So, yeah, that's my issue, the fires.
I mean, if you were living in Melbourne and someone wanted to walk into your home, or Sydney or Brisbane or wherever, we'd all be up in arms. That's right. What sort of consultation was given farmers, Al?
Nothing. We haven't heard the Andrews and Labor government. We haven't been given anything on it.
Bev, this is squatting in my view. This is absolutely squatting, and the worry I have is the Andrews government does this. They get through their legislation, and they don't tell you what's in the legislation. And I know you were good. You stood up, but the clowns and the crossbench passed it, and then the detail comes in afterwards in these regulations. And it's only if you pick up, as you have, the regulations that we understand how bad this is. How can this be fixed?
Well, people can make submissions to these regulations, and I'm going to urge everybody to do that, to voice their opinions very strongly about what they think of all these regulations, because that's the only way we'll hold the whole thing to account. And thankfully, people like you bringing it to the public's attention. It is quite extraordinary and very damaging for farmers and landholders, because who's to know where a Crown lease begins or ends? Who's to know where a catchment management authority might have done reclaiming of land and fenced it off? There aren't signs everywhere to tell you this, and they're even suggesting that there should be portable toilets. Well, hello, 17,000 kilometres of water frontage. I can't imagine how many portaloos will be required for all of that. So, you know, we're going to have to ensure that these regulations are all changed totally. I mean,
all right, I've got to leave it there. I've run out of time. I'm sorry, Bev, but I'm put all of this information up on my Facebook page because I want people who are fired up about it tonight to actually put pen to paper and try and get some change for farmers like Al Coulson. Al, thank you for your time. Bev McArthur, as always, thank you for picking this up.
Thank you.
Thank you.